like the idea that a voice can just go somewhere
uninvited, like a dirty thought in a nice clean mind.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Jay. This is the Liberal Lens. I'm back at you. Let's talk about the wild stuff that's going on in the U.S. right now. And we'll start in Minnesota, where Renee Good had lost her life because an ICE agent decided to step in front of her vehicle, shoot her 3 times in the face, and then call her a fucking bitch. Yeah, this is where we're at in this country. This is how far the authoritarianism has gone in this country, to where we're now looking like Nazi Germany, the beginning of the Soviet Union. And I know we've all been in history class. We've talked about World War II, and people were like, how could they have let this happen? We're watching it unfold in front of our eyes right now. 20 years from now, when they are teaching history classes, they are going to refer to MAGA and Trump the same way they refer to Hitler and the Nazi Party. And I know people are telling me I was over the top, being hyperbolic for the last year, even more, pointing out where this regime was taking us. And we see what's going on in Venezuela. And no, I'm not defending some vile dictator from Venezuela either. What I'm talking about is there's legal ways to go about things. And then let's not pretend what's going on in Venezuela doesn't have a lot to do with Trump trying to keep pushing his false narrative of a stolen election in 2020 and him putting pressure on the Venezuelan president to lie and say they helped rig the election, because that's part of it. And that's all still coming. That is all still going to unfold. This is about oil also. And it's about Trump disregarding not only world laws, but he's also violating American laws. None of this should have happened without Congress weighing in on this. They're the ones who determine these types of things. This is not some unilateral shit that Trump and his administration can keep doing. But if you keep watching, what they're doing is they keep using the word terrorist, Democrat terrorists, domestic terrorist, foreign terrorist, drug terrorist, because they think if they use the word terrorist, then they can just unleash the military on whoever they want. And it's why Trump kept calling everybody in the United States domestic terrorists, everybody who disagreed with him. And he tried to use the National Guard. He's tried to use the military. The courts have been keep ruling against him in these things. But you have to be careful, because, and watch, this is what Trump's doing. This is what his administration's doing. They want to label everybody a terrorist and a threat to the United States. There was a guy in Germany who used to say Germany first, used to say anybody who disagreed with him was a threat to Germany. Yeah, I'll let you history buffs figure that one out. But back to Renee Good. We literally watched an officer execute an American citizen and then call her a fucking bitch. And I know you're going to have these mega cult members who are out there going, if you just would have obeyed. That's not how America works. Even if we agreed with you that she broke some law, which I'm not saying, nothing she did is punishable by death. If you watch the video, there's multiple ICE agents giving her different orders, yet she stays cordial. She stays kind to this ICE agent. And then he steps in front of her vehicle while other ICE agents are telling her to move, and shoots her in the face 3 times. A mother, a sister, a daughter. This is where we've come to, where ICE agents are literally murdering citizens in the street. It was bad enough when they were just kidnapping them. Now they're literally murdering them. We have come to the comply or die era of this Trump administration. And the fact that people anywhere are justifying that Renee Good died for any reason after watching that video is insane. They don't care about law and order. They are not the party of law and order. They are not the party of police, because if they cared about any of this, why weren't they caring about it when it happened on January 6th, when hundreds of officers got injured, when they tried to overthrow the government? What happened to this if they would have just obeyed? But then Trump comes in and pardons them, and most of them become ICE agents. get their student loans forgiven, which nobody else can. Then they give them $50,000 sign-on. Then they give them masks and guns, and we're supposed to act like we're shocked that any of these horrific things had happened, that these monsters that are masked up in our street that are murdering and kidnapping people, like this was going to go bad when the supposed don't tread on me people became the tread, when the Proud Boys joined ICE, all these anti-government militias. They weren't anti-government. They were just anti-liberals. They were anti-Democrats. They're anti-progressives. But as long as their cult leader's the one ordering it, then everything's okay. And this is exactly what Trump and his administration want. They want civil unrest. They want a civil war. They want us to explode so they can call martial law and never have to leave power, so that they can stay in the White House. This is Stephen Miller's plan. This is the plan of Project 2025. And any of you who haven't figured it out yet, it is not Donald Trump running our country. It is Stephen Miller. And his own family has came out and talked about how vile and horrible of a human being he is. Jonathan Ross, the piece of shit who shot Renee Good, has been in incidents, has been called out by other law enforcement agents saying he didn't have the right temperament for this. But yet they armed him, they put him in the street, they cut down the training these guys need, and then he calls the woman a fucking bitch after he shoots her in the face 3 times. What kind of human being watches this happen and thinks any of this is okay? Do you know how vile of a human you have to be to not feel for the people that these things are happening to? Do you know how disgusting you have to be and how bad your moral compass has to be broken when you're okay to watch a mother who is being nothing but kind get murdered in the street by a so-called law enforcement officer who really doesn't have the legal right to be doing what they're doing? They are breaking the law. They don't have the authority to act as a police officer. They are Border Patrol agents. They don't have the right to pull people over for traffic violations or other things. They don't have the right to murder people. And most of all, they don't have the right to step in front of a vehicle to cause a situation where they supposedly fear for their life. That's illegal. And it's against their own policy. But yet you have Bondi and Trump and Patel already in then on the cover up when no investigation has even been done, and they're refusing to even let Minnesota investigate with them. We are in a crazy time right now, and we are fighting against our own government and DOJ because Trump weaponized the agency that was supposed to be the safeguard. It was supposed to be the DOJ. And then you got the pedo and chief up there telling people if he doesn't get the House, then he's going to be impeached. Well, of course, you're doing illegal shit. At what point is everybody going to wake up? And I know a lot of the anger and the bullshit we see on social media is a lot of the bots, and it's not even real people stoking this fire of MAGA. But we do still have over 40% of this country that thinks what Trump is doing is okay. Our country is in a moral decline. Their morals and understanding of right and wrong are so broken because they're angry. And Trump liberated their anger. And now we're seeing this pour into the street. And we're on the verge of a civil war. And I don't think people really understand how close we are to this all crumbling in front of us. The rest of the world right now is petrified about what's going on. Trump's talking about taking Greenland by force. Germany is sending ships to protect Greenland. It is another NATO country, and he is literally threatening them because he wants to destroy NATO. Him and Stephen Miller have wanted to destroy NATO for years. Back in his last term, Trump was talking about taking Greenland, and everybody laughed at him. This is exactly what happened with Hitler. Everybody thought he was a fucking joke until it was too late. And next thing you know, we're in a fucking world war with a psycho, and we're watching the same thing happen, but it's the United States being the ones who are scaring the rest of the world now, raiding Venezuela, threatening to take Greenland, and killing and kidnapping citizens. It is time to wake up, America. And yes, we need to fight back, but don't fall into the trap they want you to. Don't get violent. Don't give them a reason. Peaceful protest. The hundreds of thousands of people, it could even be more, into the millions of people who showed up in Minneapolis for Renee Good to seek justice for her. That's amazing. The amount of people who have showed up into Washington to protest against Donald Trump, that is amazing. The No Kings protest was amazing. These are the things we need to keep doing. We need to keep fighting back. We need to let the rest of the world also know that we're not okay with this. And at some point, the Tangerine Palpatine is going to be gone. And we need to fix what we've done with broken relationships. And it's on us, the citizens, to show enough support for these people, to fight against a dictatorship, to let the world know this isn't us. This is this evil man who is in the White House. And all of you who voted for him are complicit in what we're seeing. You see people like Joe Rogan trying to backtrack now. You don't get to wipe yourself clean when you created the problem that we're in. You created the shitstorm, but yet now you want to be absolved of any guilt in this when you helped get him elected, when Andrew Schultz helped him get elected. These are the people, Theo Vaughn, these are the people you need to look at. These are the people that don't get passes. You put this man in office, and now we are all suffering because you let your hate and anger guide your vote. All right, guys, let me know what you think about what's going on. Drop it in the comments. Let me know what you think should happen to Jonathan Ross. Keep fighting the good fight. Thank you for all the support. Please go over to YouTube and hit that subscribe. We are doing great on Facebook. You guys have all been supporting us, but we've seen that content creators like me are getting knocked off of platforms because the big, powerful billionaires don't like the things that we're saying. So go follow on YouTube. Go follow on Instagram. But if Meta gets me on Facebook, Instagram's probably going with it. But I appreciate you all. One world, one love. Deuces.
Everything's polluted. The environment, the government, the schools, you name it.
This radio person is the whole problem. Are we going to allow this guy to be heard by anyone who can turn a dial?
You out there? You listening?